and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Outdoors People with me, C.W. Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, April 12th, 2023. We got a beautiful, beautiful 80-degree Fahrenheit sunny, but very breezy. I'm going to go so far as to say it's windy as hell. 27, that's 27 degrees Celsius. Maya, what is the temperature down there in Sao Paulo, Brazil?
It is 22 degrees Celsius. And for you guys in United States, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay,
so this is a very rare occasion that we are beating your weather in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I love it. Celebrate. It's very unseasonal here. Yeah. I mean, and somebody said, I don't know, very close to here, they said, it'll be mid 80s. And I'm like, that's just unheard of for, the first part of, I'm going to call it the first part of April. I guess we're more toward the middle, but still that's, I remember plowing snow and blizzards in April before. So this is a very welcome thing here. I'm very happy about that. So
yeah.
And did you have a good week? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, and the opposite here, because it is fall already and still like summertime pretty much. So it should be chiller than it is actually. It is too warm.
Okay. Well, not for me. But but we're a little different program. I take it all in because our winters get cold up here. Did you have a good week, Maya?
Oh, yes, I had. Yeah. I spent a whole weekend with my family and it was a rainy weekend. So I was not able to do anything outside.
Hey, you didn't go climbing or anything this weekend, did you?
No, was like raining nonstop.
Yeah. Maybe this weekend, huh?
I guess I hope so. And how about you?
I don't have anything to climb here other than maybe the stairs, but that's a whole other story. But yeah. Well, tonight's episode of Outdoors People is brought to you by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
By Campground Views, making camping easier.
By Duluth Pack, made in the USA since 1882.
And by Jackson Kayak, pursuing joy through paddle sports.
Tonight's episode is Rollerski Down Under with our special guest, Hannes Halley. 45-year-old Austrian personal fitness trainer and strength coach, PGA golf professional, and roller ski instructor, Hannes Halley is dedicated to the field of athletics. Hannes is involved with university health and fitness with a focus on eccentric exercise, and he's also a golf conditioning and fitness trainer and a coach for roller skiing. Hannes's accomplishments include Western Australia Personal Training Business of the Year in 2009 and was also named Australian Nordic Walking Instructor of the Year in 2012. Hannes is currently preparing for the upcoming Rollerski and Biathlon event series for the disabled, which will be held in Perth, Australia. The aim is to have Australians participating at the 2026 and 2030 Winter Olympics in cross-country skiing and biathlon. And with that, welcome to the show, Hannes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Dear sir, tell us what time it is where you're at in Australia again.
We have 6 a.m. currently, so early morning. And we have a bit of a rainy morning starting because we are bracing for a cyclone hitting the north of Western Australia.
Currently. Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Maya, I think we have a winner here for the contest of who's up the earliest for this show.
Yeah.
Johnny, tell her what you want. Johnny, tell me what he's won. Anyway, but yeah, really appreciate you getting coming on the show with us that early in the morning. So
no problem. You can see it's still dark behind me because that's the window. but it's supposed to be sunrise in the next 20 minutes. So hopefully we get some sunlight coming through the back.
We're going to be able to watch that happen. I love that. And that's another first here on Outdoors People Show. So yeah, absolutely. I don't think we've ever experienced that.
That's so cool. We're going to see the sunrise with you in Australia. That's very, very cool. Thank you for being here with us so early. And I want to know, I have never heard about that, so I want to know everything. What is exactly rolling skiing and where did it start?
Roller skiing is essentially cross-country skiing, but without the snow. So we use the same technique and we use skis that are on wheels, and that enables us to train during the snow-free season. So obviously it's ideal for countries that don't have snow, or countries that don't have much snow, only snow through the winter time. So it started back in the early 1900s, so 1920s, 1930s, where most of the Scandinavian countries or European countries were looking for an option to train when there is no snow. And some good inventors just came up with why wouldn't we put some wheels on some skis and just ski in summertime?
Right.
Why not, right? Mainly in Australia. And are there various style and types of equipments for roller skiing?
Yes, so cross-country skiing, there's two main techniques. One is called freestyle or skating, where you probably know that the style is that V shape you do when you do inline skating. And the second one is the classic, and that's when you see in wintertime, they prepare the snow with man-made tracks, and you actually go along the tracks. And roller skiing is similar. So we have one ski that is designed for the freestyle and skating technique, and I can actually show you one of the skis here. So they have very narrow wheels similar to an inline ski, and that's the whole skate. So it's a skate with the binding, just like you use in wintertime, and then it's set on a frame. This one is aluminium, and then it has wheels at the end. So that's for skating. So it's a narrow wheel, and it allows you to actually ski very fast and be very agile. And then the second technique would be a classic ski. So the wheel is a bit wider.
Oh, wow.
Because the classic technique, the ski is also a bit longer, but the classic technique, because you just go in a straight line, a wider wheel just gives you more stability. So you can just use the upper power muscles. Where on skating, you go more like a skating step, and you use the poles to mimic the motions you do in cross-country skiing.
That's really a pretty big difference in the width of those skis there. I mean, and then are they both the same length?
No, so the skate ski, that's the standard wheel is about 24 millimeter in width and 100 millimeter in diameter. And the classic wheel is 40 millimeter in width and only has 80 millimeters. So you can see roughly that they are not the same length. The classic is a bit longer, but only by about 5 centimeters. But you can get shorter skis if you just want to do more agility. But standard is about 60 centimeters for a skate and 65 to 70 centimeters for a classic.
Interesting. Now, does it really is it really closely simulate skiing? That, I mean, is it just like skiing, or is there some difference? I'm sure there's a little difference, right?
Yeah, I mean, the main difference is because obviously on snow, you have a different traction. So when you ski on tarmac, the wheel grips very well onto the ground. So the push off always feels almost perfect. Where on a snow ski, it can be early season conditions, it can be icy snow, it can be soft snow late in the season, and then the ski kind of skids a bit as you move. So the technique is slightly different that way, but we use the same boots. We use the same binding, so the same poles. We just use a different tip at the end. So the tip we use on tarmac is a bit harder, and in winter you have the snow basket, so you don't sink into the snow when you push off. But more or less, the technique itself, the muscles you use, are exactly the same.
I saw a video. I think it was on your Instagram page. I believe that's what it was. And there was a gentleman there that had a roller ski on one foot. I think it was his right. And the other one was in snow.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of, what was that all about? It was cool. Look, what was that?
I think it was just somebody saying that's the end of the season for the winter season.
Oh,
We are now gearing up to the roller ski season. So it
it's
was more a fun take, and so like, well, we're already preparing for one, but we're still enjoying the other.
okay. That's interesting because I'm going, what the hell is this guy doing? This is interesting. It's cool, but I couldn't figure it out. But
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet because it will never happen in Western Australia. But
right.
if I ever go somewhere late in the season, I might give it a go.
Well, if that traction is different like that, that would be weird, wouldn't it? I mean, you got one roller ski and one actual ski. I think it would be difficult, wouldn't it?
It is, but it also shows that the technique is quite similar. So you can actually have one on each. But yeah, it will definitely feel very odd. And I didn't see all the other videos where he probably did a face plant or something similar.
Well, let me ask you, how did you become personally involved with roller skiing, having come from a background in pro golf?
It's quite interesting. I grew up in a ski resort in the Austrian Alps near Salzburg, and pretty much was around skiing all the time. And I went to a sport-specific school for alpine skiing that is well known for producing some of the best skiers we have in Austria recent times. And cross-country skiing is always part of it because obviously in most alpine regions you have cross-country skiing tracks and you have alpine ski tracks. So it was always part of growing up. But as you know, in winter seasons we ski, in summer seasons we have to choose different sports. And I gravitated to golf and usually did for many years, was a ski instructor in winter and then was teaching golf in summertime. So it actually was the perfect combination of the two. And then kind of fell in love with an Australian lady and moved to Australia. And I didn't know much of where we'll go, but we went to Perth, where it's in Western Australia, and just realized very quickly that Western Australia has no snow at all. So I was kind of
See, now you let a woman
looking for something. Yeah,
you let a woman drive you there. That's
no, I started to miss the snow a little bit. That's where Nordic walking comes in as well, because we obviously use poles for walking technique. And then looked for something a bit more. And then, I remembered from back home that people do use roller skis. And I thought like, well, maybe it's time for me to get some skis down here. And by my surprise, there was already some people skiing along the trails in Perth already. So it was very easy to join the community. And because of my background in coaching itself, I thought like, well, that would be a great way to introduce other people to the sport. And that's how it all started.
That's interesting. Yeah, that goes back to something here. You mentioned two types of skiing, downhill and cross country. Which did you do more of in your past?
Growing up, I did more downhill skiing, alpine skiing. As everyone, but my parents were always very high involved in cross-country skiing. So, like I said, because we have in our valley, for example, there's not much flat ground, but the little bit that's a flat ground is actually the golf course. And in wintertime, they use the golf course for the cross-country ski track. And then pretty much you can imagine there's a valley, and left and right we have mountains going up 2,500-3,000 meters, and that's all for alpine skiing. So it was always there, and there was always events in both sports. So the town itself, because being a ski resort, was always having events in both disciplines. So you kind of grew up with everything. But I think at the start it was more fun taking the gondola up and ski down than actually having to push myself and work hard the whole time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can tell. And how popular is roller skiing in Australia since there is no snow there?
So in Western Australia, it's a lot of the people that ski here, or they already know roller skiing, are coming from a mining background. So Western Australia is well known for its mining. We have a lot of gas, oil, iron ore, gold, and a lot of people come from nations like Norway, where oil extraction has been there for many, many, many years. And they move to Perth, and then obviously they want to do something that they are used to from back home. So we have a lot of people, they come from that background. And we have a good community now. So we do weekly social rides where we just meet every week and then have a group together. So there's always people that know the sport, but it's definitely well known in the eastern states. So in our capital, Canberra, or near Melbourne, Sydney also as well. They're in the southeast of Australia, and not far of that, there's actually snowfields, what not many people know. There's very well-known snowfields, and they're about 4 or 5 hour car drive away from the snowfields. So they experience cross-country skiing and alpine skiing, and therefore also use roller skiing during the summer times. And I'm actually on a plane tonight, flying to Canberra to the Australian Rollerski Championships that's held every year in April. And there should be around 140, 150 participants trying to see who is the fastest in the country.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of popular then.
Very cool.
So don't go away. We will be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with Hannes Holly, our guest here on Outdoors People. Hannes, how long have you been holding these roller skiing clinics there in Australia, and what sort of things do you cover there in them?
So we started around 2010, 2011 in Perth. We were doing purely Nordic walking classes before, and then went to the roller skiing around 2010. And we've been running clinics pretty much on a weekly basis at the very start. And we were offering cross-country skiing, but also the biathlon. And biathlon is not so well known around the world, but it's actually a very popular sport in Europe. And I think the TV rights says biathlon have more people watching the events than actually cross-country skiing and alpine skiing combined. So biathlon combines cross-country skiing and target shooting. So they actually have a rifle strapped on the back. It's a 22 caliber. Then they ski along and then obviously stop at a target shooting range, shoot targets. And if you're very fast and shoot all the 5 targets, you can ski on. And if you miss a target, you have to do a penalty lap. So the race goes on. So if you're a fast shooter and a good skier, you win the competition. So in summertime and in areas, because obviously you can't, especially Australia, we don't have different gun laws. We shoot with laser rifles. So they actually have a laser beam and the laser goes into the target. So you can simulate the same sport. And then we call it laser biathlon. And the third big sport is Nordic combined. That's also a sport a lot of people don't know. It combines cross-country skiing and ski jumping. So ski jumping on snow hills. And that is definitely a crazy sport where people jump 100, 120 meters down a mountain. And then the distance gets converted into time. And that's how the race starts. So there's 3 different sports. We don't do the ski jumping, obviously, but we use roller skiing with, we've done it with archery as a combination. We have done it with running if people don't want to shoot. So you just do a quick run and then it gets the heart rate up and then you have to slow down and shoot. And the best area would be with roller skis. But obviously it's not that easy that you can just jump on a ski and shoot a rifle. It needs a bit of training because we don't want the bullets to go stray anywhere. So we keep it safe with laser and nothing can happen. So that's the way it should be.
You know, I've never heard of either of those before. And I think that is cool as hell. And, you know, this is the kind of stuff we're missing in America because we're not creative that way. But I love that. I mean, I think that's, wow. And you said your heart rate's all, you know, up and everything. And then try and aim a rifle. I mean, I think that would be tough, especially, archery too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
cool.
there's some of those people. I mean, that's part of the training. Is actually, you know, you have a high endurance sport. Cross-country skiing is one of the sports where you use the most muscle groups. It's very hard on the heart rate. And if you can imagine, you ski for 10 kilometers on the highest heart rate, 140, 150 beats per minute, and then you have to calm your breathing down. So there's a special techniques to really get the breathing as low as possible, shoot as clean as you can, and then obviously change over again, and you have to get it going again. And to do 2 different disciplines, they do a standing and laying prone. So there's 2 disciplines when you do it, and the distance is 50 meters away. So it's definitely challenging because you're in the outdoors as well. You know, it could be the event is in the middle of a blizzard. And shooting with snow coming into your face is it's definitely a different situation.
Oh my God.
That's very challenging. CW, you must try it out.
I have to. Yeah. I mean, this is cool. Give us a good reason to go to go there and to check the whole thing out. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you both don't have to go too far. You have a good group of skiers around Chicago. There's some snow groups. So if you check them out on Facebook and stuff, there's groups that do roller skiing and cross-country skiing. And the same is in Brazil. I have quite a few friends. They follow me, and we're in touch quite regularly. They're roller skiers, so they're pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, but I think they'd frown upon us shooting guns and on skis near Chicago. You're gonna go, wait a minute, get this guy out of here, man. In fact, take him out of here in handcuffs, see him while you're at it. But yeah. But, love to.
Yeah, that's funny. The same here. I don't want to see that here. Let's do that in Australia anyways. But I have another question. So tell us a little about Kangaroo Hoppet and the roller ski championships.
Well, the Kangaroo Hoppet is quite an interesting event. It's held every year in August when it's in the middle of the snow season here. And it's the biggest cross-country ski race in the Southern Hemisphere. So there's people coming from around the world because obviously it's a novelty to come to Australia to ski in first place. And then what better reason than participating in a cross-country ski event? And it's part of a worldwide series called the World Loppet. There is events everywhere in the world, and it starts in the early year. So Perth is Australia is the first race. Then it goes to New Zealand. Then there is a race in Argentina. Before the races then start in Europe. And it's similar to marathon running. You have the London Marathon, New York Marathon, Boston. So you have destinations, and the World Loppet is the same for cross-country skiers. They just you can participate and become a World Loppet athlete. And once a year, people just come to Falls Creek, what is a small town north of Melbourne. And the event has, like I said, attracts 1,400, 1,500 people, and they all participate in a massive snow ski race. So it's actually really nice. And Rollerski Australian Championships is similar to that event for summertime. And like I mentioned before, I'm heading there tonight. So the events are Saturday, Sunday, and there's 2 disciplines. So one is the sprint, where you basically just do 1 lap on time, and then you get, if you get through in time, you have different heats where you compete against 3 other skiers per heat, and the fastest one always progresses into the final. And on a second day, that's where I will race. It's a criterium, what is a 10-kilometer time trial, pretty much a mass start, and whoever is the fastest wins it. But we have quite a few known athletes. They spend their summertime in overseas, so they actually compete on the world stage, and they're all now returning to Australia because the season ended. So there will be a very competitive field. But I'm lucky I'm now a master, so I'm competing in a different range. So I'm not competing against the young ones anymore.
That's cool. It's a new whole world that I didn't know. That's very, very cool. And we have some pictures and videos after this little break. So don't go away, because we will be back with more of Outdoors People right after these messages.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutubaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sights, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born, built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with our guest, Hannes Holly, here on Outdoors People. We will take a look at some photos and a video, it looks like, here. So, Juan, if you can put those up first.
Ooh, I love that part.
Yeah. What are we looking at here, Hannes?
That's the beautiful Western Australian coast, the Indian Ocean, and that's a nice trail that runs alongside. Perth is a coastal city, so we have tracks. They run about 50 to 60 kilometers along the coast near Perth, and that's coming down from the north. And yeah, as you can see, the ocean is beautiful. We have one of the best coral reefs around here, the Ningaloo Reef. Is well known for the whale sharks. So nothing better than skiing along the ocean, I would say.
That's pretty cool. That is you, though, right?
That's me, yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Seeing this amazing picture, why you don't surf I
Well,
mean, would it be
we,
so
we
much easier in Australia, I guess.
lots of people surf here. We actually have one of the World Pro events here in Margaret River every year. So especially the beach you see behind me is well known for the surfing near the city. But the surfing is more in the southwest where the breaks are a bit better. But lots of people surf. I'm very good with waxing the board, but I'm not so good on the board.
See, I'm with you, Hannes. I suck at
Yeah.
surfing, and I would be on those roller skis in a minute.
In a
That's it.
beaver.
I can tell the people when the next wave is coming in.
That's right. Man.
I'm just kidding because here in
Love it.
Brazil, everyone surf as well, but I just don't. I don't know how. So I'm just kidding.
You don't have any snow there either in Brazil, so yeah,
Oh.
I think yeah.
That's why I rock climb.
There you go. There we go.
So that's the equipment we use. So actually, that's the same ski you saw prior. So that's a skating ski, freestyle ski. Then you see the boots. My boots are special roller ski boots, so they don't have the outer layer you have on snow boots because obviously we don't have any snow coming in. So it's a bit more comfortable to have a boot that is open. Then you have gloves because obviously the holding the handles can cause a few blisters on your hands, and especially if you have lovely soft hands and a bit fragile. And then you have a helmet just for safety. I have to say that if you fall, mostly it's gravel rush, what can be very painful.
Oh.
And the head is the last thing you usually hit, but safety first, they say, and it always looks cool. And then obviously the poles. So the poles are there, as you saw in the prior picture, to push yourself forward and create more speed.
What's in the bottom of those poles? Those aren't the same poles that you would actually ski with, are they? I mean, because you're hitting pavement, right?
No, yeah. So that's the tip itself changes to a very hard tungsten metal tip, and it just helps to the snow basket would just break off because obviously the basket is designed to go into the snow.
Yeah.
But you can use them. It's just that obviously if you're on tarmac all the time and you generate a lot of force into the ground, the tip end has to be a bit harder.
Okay. Yeah, I figured maybe they were rubber or something like that, but
No. The pole is we don't. You can put rubber tips on when you ski on concrete surface, but the tarmac you see there, the spike actually in summer when it's 40 plus degrees, that tarmac gets a bit soft and gooey, and those spikes actually go perfectly into the ground.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Right. Well, we got a video now, right? That's coming up next. All right, let's take a look at that. It looks so easy. You guys make it look really easy.
Feels like just follow the flow, right?
Yeah, that's it. So actually, it's funny because those three people that were skiing in that video, the first one is from Japan. So she's an exchange student. The second one is from Canada, who actually came from ultramarathon running, and she saw us skiing and found it's a great idea to try something different. And that's what we see a lot as well. We have a lot of people that train different sports. So they come to cross-country skiing or roller skiing because they're endurance sports athletes and they just want something different, use different muscle groups, especially upper body. And the first one was someone from the UK. So there was pretty much 4 nations on wheels in Perth. And nobody was actually born there, so it's quite funny.
Well, yeah, do you get a lot of people that discover roller skating for the first time and go, "What are you doing? What is that?" And they're asking you like the same thing I was. You do. You get a lot of that, huh?
Yeah, there definitely is. Every time you go out, it's like, "Oh, what's that?" Or especially kids are pointing it out straight away. Say, "Oh, that's cool," And that's what helps us because obviously with social media nowadays, people can just type in. What's that? Or they scream it to us. Oh, what are you doing? It was like we're roller skiing, and And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
but there's no snow. It's like, well, that's the whole point, But so they definitely then quickly can Google things, and thank God to YouTube or whatever you use. There's videos pretty much accessible 24/7. But we have a lot of people, they come to kids clinics. So we have in the school holidays, we run special kids clinics. So we have kids from age 4, 5 joining us already, and they love it. But we play a little bit more. We play basketball on skis and hockey, because they forget about what the feet are doing, so they just learn the skills before we actually get them to use poles. There's lots of ways of combining different sports, but do them on skis.
So much fun.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a lot of people that or maybe you don't know, I don't know, in the United States? Is it catching on here, or is it primarily in places like Australia?
Well, cross-country skiing itself, you have a huge community in America, and you actually have one of the world champions, the current world champion female, is from the US. She also won the Olympic championships, so she's an Olympic athlete. And you have every ski area has massive clubs. Like I mentioned, there's a ski club in Chicago. They ski regularly. So there is, anywhere you go, it's definitely popular. I wouldn't say it's the number 2 or 3 winter sport, but I would say it's in the top 100. No. So it should be in the top 10 number wise, because there is endless snow trails in the US. So if you go to any of the known ski resorts or anywhere there is snow, it's actually easier to make a snow track for cross-country skiing than it's to go downhill skiing, because obviously you don't need the steep mountains to do that.
Right. So whatever you see, wherever you have skiers, these skiers are doing this already, even places like here in the United States. They're already doing this. They know about it. It's just not as widely known as golf, for instance. Right?
Yeah, that's I think a little bit that we're fighting against this. Obviously, a lot of people already know the sport and then they gravitate to it. It's hard to reach new people if they don't see it. So it's all about exposure for us and for the sport. And a lot of cross-country skiers go to cycling criterium tracks and similar. And then obviously they are with already people they are in endurance sports. So it's a bit harder to target people they just don't know the sport, full stop. So, but it's funny enough, you have a roller ski club in New York City, you have a roller ski club in London Hyde Park. So they're definitely out there, and it's all more word of mouth. But like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter which part you are in the world, there is some roller skiers out there. And now with things like that, people just maybe see somebody and like, oh yeah, I heard about that before. And then they combine it with a picture they see, and then maybe they get interested to say, well, can I give it a go? And you definitely can. So we have, most people in our clinics are not people, they actually come from a cross-country ski background. They're all people that just have seen us on the street and then feel like, whoa, I will try that and then give that a go. And then when you have a clinic with 4 people or 10 people or 15 people, it makes it easier because more people see you and more exposure, and more people get interested in the sport itself.
Well, hopefully we have provided some of that exposure for you. That's really what we're all about here is, introducing people here to different things, new sports and people, outdoors people in the world. Hannes, let me ask you, in that along those lines, where can people purchase roller skiing equipment?
There's a few stores out there now. I wouldn't say you can just go to your local sports store and find them next to your Jordans, but you can definitely find a few stores. In America, there's well-known ski stores. They already have them in stock. That ski brand I use is made in Finland. But they pretty much ship anywhere in the world. I have an online shop for people in Australia, so they can purchase the equipment here from us directly. But you pretty much nowadays with online shopping, I think you even find roller skis on Amazon. But everything, the problem is that there is also a lot of copies being made nowadays. It's a big industry now, and skis they actually come from known manufacturers, are much higher in quality, especially the wheels. So the wheels are fairly expensive. You look, not so much in US dollars, but I think it's about $400 for a set of skis. And over $250 of it would be the wheels. So they usually wear off about 1,500, 2,000 kilometers road use. And to replace the wheels is the most expensive part. So if you have a really good set of wheels, you get more mileage out of them. And it will definitely save you money than buying cheaper brands that wear out quickly. Right.
Wow, that's interesting. Never knew that.
Yeah. And where can people go to follow you on the web?
Well, best is to see us on rollerskidownunder.com.au. So AU is for the Australian side of things. But if you type in Rollerski Down Under, they pretty much find us anywhere. We are mostly covered on Instagram, so under Rollerski Down Under. I think we are now just over 27,000 followers, so that's pretty good for a small sport. And they can also find us on YouTube. So if you type in Rollerski and Fitness channel, you'll find us there, and you find lots of videos there on how to get started, what the equipment is. But the best is also just get on a website or get on Instagram, send us a text, send us a message, and we can also help you to find sports clubs near you. They offer roller skiing or even biathlon. Some people might be interested in biathlon. And somebody might be crazy enough to do ski jumping. So we can definitely point you in the right direction.
Hannes, let me ask you before we say goodbye here to you. Your shop, you've got a shop, you sell roller skis, am I correct?
Correct, yes.
Do you, and I'm just putting you on the spot here, and I apologize for that, but if someone wanted to order skis from you, do you ship overseas? Do you ship to other countries?
Absolutely, yeah. We ship anywhere it is. We just also usually do use common sense. So with the brands we deal, if that brand has a shop already existing in the country you're coming from, then we say go directly there, because usually the shipping is cheaper. Especially in the last 2-3 years, shipping costs have exploded around the world, and it's sometimes obviously easier to buy in the country, but. We're really good because we're a small community. We all work together, and yes, we all would like to make the money, but at the end of the day, it's what is more convenient to the people skiing. But yes, if somebody is interested, we send anywhere or point you in the direction where you can shop.
Yeah, that's great. And that's exactly what I wanted to establish, was because if someone said, I want to check that out, and they go to social media and contact you, you'll direct them to a place or the website, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a small community, and we all want to help together. It's the same as any outdoor sports. They are niche. As more people that help each other, as better the sport will be, and we are all a very tight knit community.
Yeah, that's
very nice.
Yeah. Well, Hannes, we'd like to thank you here for being our guest on Outdoors People. It was absolutely a pleasure having you with us and teaching us about roller skiing.
Yes, Thank you for being in here and teach us so much. That was really very nice.
As you can see, it's finally sunlight outside.
Beautiful. I watched that happen, and I can't watch it. Yes, that's awesome. I think that's a first for this show, I got to say.
Thank you for starting your day with us.
Absolutely.
And we'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, Campground Views, Duluth Pack, and Jackson Kayak.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode when neuroscience meets the outdoors with our special guest, Dr. Lindsay Bira. Until then, from Maya Marzaki, this is CW Getz saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. See you next week.
Ciao.